The woman walks with a shipwrecked gait. The wind whips sleet through the air, circles her shrouded body, threatens to rip her from her tiny feet, never to return her to land. I can see her bent double into the gale, clutching her thin coat to her chest beneath two tightly folded arms. She wears a hat, more from an ingrained yielding to social convention than for warmth, but it cannot protect her from the howling night. And when a fresh gust causes her to stumble, it's as if the pavement has lurched beneath her feet, as if the wind has found its way beneath a stone into the foundations, until it has worked crests and deep troughs into the plane of the streets with as much ease as it would carve the fractious surface of seawater. Water wants to be agitated. It throws itself into the swell and toss, the pound and thrash, the splashback and rounding terror of wave over wave over wave. In the calm, it's only preparing itself, replenishing its fierce strength for the next surge. Not really calm then, only listening, rippling with electric energy while it waits for the hint of another rolling wave, gathering momentum, building and building until it breaks. Now it is as if that wave is tunneling beneath the city streets, as if the water has discovered a shortcut, found a way under the land, bypassed the tiresome need to negotiate a coastline and flood into the river's mouth to quench the terrible thirst at Foulness and Canvey Islands, the estuary marshes and Gravesend. Instead, the sea is washing westward direct from the channel. It is boring beneath Essex and Kent. It is gathering gravel, sand, brick earth and clay as it moves, relentless and at breakneck speed. Its muscular currents ripple with seams of sediment which it thieves from the city's foundations to leave the metropolis limp, sullen, amnesiac. And the river waits. It holds its breath, bracing against the bed, feeling the reverberations of the time-deepened sea ripple across its surface as across the drum of a listening ear. As best it can, the river steadies itself for the onslaught, when the tunneling sea will smash through both banks at once, when it will make its bed anew with rot and rock until the glacial cut is a fresh grave in which the pebble-dashed shore, the lost treasures and trinkets, the memories of times and people past have come to rest, finally interred. And I watch the woman as she lurches onward into the stone swell. She's clutching at the buildings on her right, searching out the lee, but they bend and shift in the squall with everything else. She's gripping a door frame here, a weather-worn window ledge there, seeking to steady herself from the fall she knows must come, hoping to delay it for as long as possible. I can see her moving hand over grasping hand along the red brick facades of Hammersmith Bridge Road as she makes her way, alone, in the dark, towards the river. The woman's body is bound up in the immediate task of remaining upright, putting one foot in front of the other, keeping her eyes lowered to avoid the sleet and dust and other debris which the wind would hurl in her face to blind her if it could. So as she nears the water and makes her way down to the right towards the river's northern upstream bank, she doesn't notice the man on the bridge approaching Hammersmith from the south. She isn't concerned because she cannot see that his clothes are not storm-tossed, that his cap is firm upon his head, that the river water beneath him and in front of her is calm, that the sleet and the dust and the dead leaves that swirl through the air cling only to the worn fabric of her thin coat, to the netting of her modest hat. She cannot know that while the gale bites beneath her collar, slices between her cuffs and the fringes of her gloves, elsewhere the winter night is cold, certainly, but calm and quiet. The woman drags this squall in her wake. Well before she reaches the edge of the river, channel water is lurching beneath her unsteady feet, and despite her efforts to keep her face down, her eyes sheltered, the storm blinds her to the world around her, to the punters who are filing out of the Blue Anchor after last drinks and smoking in huddles before finally turning home, to the few lights still on in the mansions nearby and the round bulbs that light the bridge like the edges of a fairground dance floor in summertime. When she scales the sleeper siding to reach the shore, the storm numbs her hands to its timber grain, ridge-backed, a raised tendon pulled taut under tension. It deafens her to the sound of the pebbles that rub against each other when they shift beneath her feet. The woman is caught in the centre of her squall, numbed, newly blind and deaf, unable to register subtle shifts in sensation. I watch her walk towards the river. I watch her walk right into it. She doesn't pause, doesn't flinch with the cold when the water breaches her ankle boots, the hem of her skirt, when it drags the heavy folds of her coat across her legs, causing her to stumble, vying to make her fall. She flails for a moment, but doesn't stop walking, not until the water is over her waist, working its way up the buttons of her blouse, nearing the collar of her coat. Still caught inside her swirl of sleet and debris, still bent forward against the savage wind, still clutching her coat to her chest with both arms, I watch the woman walk on into the rising water until her body is a hunched torso, then a head, then a flimsy hat skimming the surface of the river like a child's toy boat abandoned after an afternoon at play and left alone to find the way home.